Magdalen College stands aloof at the edge of Oxford's dreaming spires, rising from the mist like a castle remembering its secrets. The river laps softly against its gardens. The cloisters echo with footsteps not always accounted for, and above it all, the bell tower watches in silence. Tourists admire its Gothic spires and ivy-choked stone, but students know better. They avoid the shadow beneath the tower. Not out of superstition, Oxford is full of that, but out of something colder, older, something closer to instinct. At the heart of this tale is a bell. Forged in 1441, according to a brief, half-burnt mention in a ledger held under glass in the Bodleian Library, it was cast not in celebration, but in warning. Its inscription was once clear, but now reads only in fragments. That which is, to sleep, shall toll. No record remains of who commissioned it. Only that it rang once, in 1555. The night before a fire gutted part of the chapel, and several fellows were found raving, clawing at the walls, one having torn out his own eyes. The bell tower was sealed, the mechanism destroyed. No one rang it again, until, some say, Thomas Averell did. Thomas was an unusually gifted student of divinity. He arrived in the autumn of 1996 with a scholarship, a leather suitcase, and an old Bible annotated in several languages. His rooms overlooked the college gardens. He was polite, soft-spoken, tidy. He read alone, walked alone, and seemed always slightly distracted, as if hearing something others did not. He was assigned to Dr. Hester Blackwell, a senior fellow in liturgical history. Known for her skepticism and sharp intellect, Blackwell quickly noted that Thomas wasn't simply bright, he was searching for something. Not knowledge, understanding. In Trinity term, he requested access to pre-Reformation texts held in restricted archives, books marked non-catalogued. He cited a proposed thesis on prelapsarian theology and the reconfiguration of original sound. The phrase troubled Blackwell. She let him proceed. It was her first mistake. Thomas began keeping strange hours. He stopped shaving. His fingers bore ink stains and chalk dust, and the skin beneath his nails was always dark, as if he'd been digging. The scouts complained of symbols drawn on his mirror. Circles within circles. Some scrawled backwards. In Latin, in Greek, and something unidentifiable. He requested to be excused from chapel. Not out of atheism, he claimed, but because the prayers weren't facing the right way. When asked to explain, he simply replied, "The bell knows." On the night of May 24th, under a windless sky, the bell rang. Once. Low, final. No one had access. No one should have been able to ring it. Windows cracked. Power surged. A stained glass panel in the chapel shattered from the inside out. And at precisely 12:44 a.m., the gate to the sealed belfry unlocked itself. Blackwell ran to the source, finding only silence. But there, at the threshold of the tower stairs, she found Thomas's notebook. It was open to a page filled edge to edge with the same sentence, over and over. Only the buried remember how to wake. She brought it back to her rooms, locked the door, and began to read. The notebook changed as she read it. The ink seemed to darken. Sentences bled into one another. There were passages that answered her thoughts, anticipating her questions, remembering things from her childhood, things she had never written down. One entry, dated 2 days in the future, read, "She will try to stop the ringing. She won't succeed." The last page was blank. Then, Under her gaze, letters began to form, handwriting not her own. It said, "Do you remember the hour you were born, Hester?" "I do." She dropped the notebook. Students began to fall ill. Nosebleeds. Insomnia. A girl from New College was found trying to dig beneath the Magdalen cloisters with a dessert spoon, mumbling about the mouth beneath the stone. Multiple students reported hearing a low, metallic humming when standing near the tower. One said it wasn't sound, but a thought broadcast just beneath hearing. "You were not made. You were wrong." Thomas had vanished by then. His room was untouched, bed neatly made, books stacked alphabetically, his shoes left by the window. His journal remained on the desk, opened to the first page. The inscription read, "This book is not mine. It is the bell's." Dr. Blackwell was last seen on June 6th during prayers at the end of the day. She led the choir herself, her voice firm, her hands steady. No one noticed the bruise around her throat until the next morning. She never returned to her rooms. The porter found her black academic robes folded neatly on her chair. Beneath them, a tape cassette with no label. It contained a single sound, the bell slowed to near silence. And beneath that, faint and almost imperceptible, a second voice, whispering, repeating one name. "Averill. The tower is closed again, resealed, but the lock is newer and the stone seems thinner." Some students in later years report hearing breathing near the belfry stairs. Those who study liturgy are warned not to read Thomas Averill's notes, though no one admits where they are stored. Still, if you walk past Magdalen at twilight, you might feel the pull. And if you stay too long and the air changes and the wind stops and everything is very, very quiet, you may hear something far above you in the sealed room stir. And remember, the bell does not call the dead. It calls the buried, and the buried are beginning to wake.